time we're going to replace my rocker gasket cover. My rocker cover gasket, let's get it right. Yeah, this was supplied to me by Reliant bears, and initially it comes sort of folded up sort of thing, which doesn't no harm. Best to just lay it out though before you do it, and just put something heavy on it like this. I've done with these candles. I like that shape, they sound pretty good. But the good thing about these, the normal ones you get on eBay and all that, are very, very thin. These are very thick, copper, genuine stuff. So, yeah, they're really good. So we're going to replace that. Before we do that, let's get the rocker cover off first. Now the weather has been crap, been raining as you can see, so I found a gap in the weather, so I'm going to do it while I've got the chance. So to be fair, I think it would be easier to remove the air filter, just makes life a bit easier. So a 13mm spanner I found does it perfectly well. Let's probably use it to hit the other side. You soon learn to know how to feel your way around this car, I've noticed. The things you can't always get to very easily. Just the 2 bolts. Ever since I've had this car, I mean, to be fair, the guy who sold it to me did say that the rocker gasket was leaking because it was covered in oil when I picked it up from the guy, and so he was honest about that. That's fair enough. But now it's got far worse. I mean, you can actually physically watch the oil running out of it. It's got that bad, so yeah, obviously don't want to endanger the engine. I mean, I've been keeping it topped up with oil, but yeah, it's not ideally the best situation to go in. You really want to normally if you wiggle this around a bit, the back bolt will usually come out. He says, come on now, don't muck me about. That's always the way, isn't it? Come on. Alright, that's one. Yeah, if you angle it right, there you go, it will usually come out like so. Okay, it's just having to get to this all. Right now, this little bugger, I have a hell of a job getting this off. And just bear with me one moment. Right. Okay. Couple of screwdrivers. Oh. There we go. Yeah, these can be a bit of a bitch to get out. Over there a moment. Right. Yeah. Now the other thing with these, you don't want to do them up too tight when you put the new gasket on. You don't want to squish it right down. It's really important. And the other one holds a back bracket on. There's a bracket on there. Don't forget to put it back on after. I just love this car, it's just so easy to work on. And yes, I am being funny. Right, yeah. The vacuum is running around there, so there's a hose that runs around there. I just think I'll put it out of the way and do this one. Don't lose them, for God's sake. Right, there's also a shake-proof washer. Don't lose it. Admittedly, these have got captive nuts on them. And they've got like a little don't lose those either, because you'll get oil peeing out. Also one on the back you need to get hold of. Again, don't lose it, whatever you do. And off it comes. He says. Well, it won't come off. You might have to jiggle it around a bit. Remember, you're going to have a similar problem putting it back. What's going on? Okay. Yeah. I'm afraid it is a bit of a jiggle because you've got pipes running across, also run across the back of it. Yes, very well thought out. You've got a fuel line that runs right across the back of there. And you've got this hose, which is also in the way. Oh, that's well gone. You can see that, look at it. absolutely gone, and they're fat as a pancake. Absolutely gone. But otherwise, not too bad. Yeah, as you can imagine, it's going to be a bit of a beast to get back on again. Also, the fact that you've got this cover, which is like a safety sort of cover for stopping fuel running on to the engine. It sort of runs down into a tray, which has saved my arse once before already. So yeah, don't destroy that or damage it. You can avoid it really. Right, I'm just going to clean the edge of that up, and I've also got to get this old gasket off. But I'm pleased to say there's no whiteness in there, which means no water's been getting in, which is great. I think what we'll do, we'll get a Stanley knife on that, Mr. Stanley knife. And a Stanley knife around it. The joys of motoring. Actually, this one's not too bad, to be fair. I've had far worse. On younger cars, I might add. Much younger cars. Where it's been burnt on so badly, you can't even shift it. Yeah, I've had to break it off in bits, sort of thing. But, touch wood, this is not going to be the case, I'm hoping. Yeah, I might have to go down the side of it as well, because where it's been spread out, it's probably going to be sticking to the sides. And I do believe it's coming out. I mean, obviously, if you can get this out without leaving any gasket on there, that's great. Because you don't really want to be messing about. You can avoid it. So, for us to spend a little bit of time, that's it, there she goes. There she blows. Here she comes. Here she comes. Come on, girl. And you always get a stubborn bit, don't you? Whoa, there you go. Absolutely knackered. That's what I say. Right, now, what I suggest is get a scraper or something of that nature, because You've got to get all this crap off. You cannot leave this crap on. Alright? It's got to come off. You don't want any of this crap, because if you put the new gasket on, it's going to sit up on that and you'll end up with problems. You'll probably end up just as bad off as you were before you started. So really need to get that crap out of there. So you can either use a screwdriver, you just want to get rid of all the old bits of gasket. Well, what it is, some people, I've done it myself, I shall be found, but done it myself. You put, especially if it's been leaking before and you didn't have a gasket at the time, the common one, you'll soon know, because the common one is the old little red hermetite gasket. Yeah, that's a common one, that one. Right, you don't want to gouge at it, but you do want to, because these copper, these cork gaskets, they will shape themselves to it to a degree. Alright, so you want to get all that crap off of there. There's a lot of crap in there, I've got to tell you. Yeah, it should be fairly smooth like that, and it's not. There's a lot of crap there. Look at that. We do need to make sure that as much of that crap is off as possible. Right, let's have a look at the old. Try and keep it as flat as possible. See all that crap coming off? We do need to get rid of that. I mean, these gaskets are pretty forgiving, but they're not that forgiving that they'll seal against very bad lumps and things. The amount of time you spend now doing it means you'll have less trouble later, because if you fit it and it starts leaking badly, you have to take it all off again. So you might as well just save yourself some time. It's not worth the hassle. It really isn't. Just thought I'd come back and show you this quickly. Now, if you've got a Dremel, it will get rid of a lot of the crap off. See? It really gets it off all the old gasket. perfect. You can get all that off of there, ideally. That's a much better way of doing it. That way you can get it as it was at the factory. There we go. There we go. That's a perfect finish. That way you can be certain of not having any bits in there, and the gasket will fit correctly. Lovely jubbly. Brilliant little tool, Parkside Tools. Got to get one of these, really good. I've had this for about 6 years or more. Brilliant tool. So do yourself a favour and get yourself one. Right, okay. Right, get some WD, spray it around there, get all any grease or crap off it, right? Also you need to get it from the inside off. Okay guys, right, I've cleaned it all off and I've got the gasket on now. What you want to do to help yourself is just put a few dabs of super glue, and I mean dabs, little tiny dabs, just enough to hold the gasket in place. Alright, you don't want to go all the way around, just a few dabs, okay? And preferably on the outer edge of the metal, not on the inner edge. You literally just want to hold it there while you get in position, so that when it squishes down, because there's like a lip that runs all the way around on here, you want that lip to seal all the way around. Alright, so don't put it on there, just on the very edge, so it just keeps the gasket there while you put it in position. Now you're not going to be able to see a lot probably. Obviously you've got to make sure the mating surface it's going on to is absolutely clean. Alright, you don't want any bits in there, and preferably you don't want any oil on there either. Okay, and that's dry as a bone. Now I've made myself a handy little light from some Poundland, not Poundland, well yeah it is Poundland, so right, Poundland. There's little strips of LEDs you can buy. You can buy a strip, I think it's for £2. And if you buy, I think it's a couple of 3 strips, you can make up one of these lights yourself. Easy enough. Now, you have to make sure that that little, as I say, that little petrol guard, it needs to be kept out of the way. And just over there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a fuel line, and it runs right across the top. Now you've got to get it over there. It is tricky. I'm not going to deny it is very tricky. So you've got to be really careful. You do not want the gasket to lose position. All right. It's imperative that you do not let it. You know, I know you can't see a damn thing, but. Now it's really important, especially at the back where you can't see what's going on. You do not want that gasket to become a... Just make sure you don't get that piece of material, that full. That's real close, isn't it? Might be easier if you get the front on first. Oh, grief. This really doesn't make life easy for you at all. There you go. And then it drops straight on. So it's probably easier just to get the front on first, depending on how close you're the top of the what to call it, thermostat housing. It's right up close to there, or it is on this one anyway. I mean, yours might be a bit further away, but yeah, so slip the front on first and then put the back on after. Right, and don't forget to get that piece of material back so it rests up against the rocker cover. As I say, it's imperative you make sure it's not trapped underneath it, alright? Okay. Right, then, I know, ideally you should have new ones of these really, but I haven't got any, so I don't think these are okay. I think these are okay, I don't think they're going to be bad. If they show any signs of leaking, I will replace them. Right now, don't forget to put that rear bracket on, if you can see it. Alright. Then put your nut on. One. Make sure it's properly seated. Okay. And before you do that, there's a anti-shake which has to go on there. And see, as I say, these are locking nuts anyway on these, so it's not going to come undone. Push that bracket down a bit, because it's going to try and, oh yeah, no, I know what I've done, I've pushed the, also something else I'll show you in a minute. Right, so then get your 13mm, and just give it a tweak up. Same with the back one. Now one thing I've noticed that I've done, which I should show you in just a moment, right now, don't over tighten it. Once it gets to the point where it's right, now if you just feel down That is well down. Okay. You don't want to distort the top, so don't over tighten it, alright? I know it's difficult because you're looking from the top of the car. But you don't want to cave that in. You obviously want it tight enough to hold the gasket in place so it doesn't leak, but you don't want it so tight that it's caving the top in. But you'll feel quite I dislodged the vacuum tube as I was mucking around at the back there. It's so important that you make sure this is in. Your engine will not run right without it, alright? It controls the advance and retard. Well, one of the things I wanted to show you was this little tiny dear little pipe here is a vacuum pipe. For those of you that are not, don't know much about mechanics, this controls the advance and retard of the timing. And so yeah, it's a little disc, and a little pipe comes out of it, sort of 90 degrees, and that little plastic pipe I showed you, that causes a vacuum inside that diaphragm. As soon as you put your foot on the accelerator, that diaphragm causes a vacuum, the carburetor causes a vacuum. It sucks down that little tube and pulls that diaphragm, which then advances the ignition system to cope with the extra fuel. That's it. That's how it works, alright? I knew how it worked, I just couldn't get it out in words. Right, so it's really important that you get that back in if it comes out, alright? Or make sure it doesn't come out. And don't damage this tube. Don't bend it or anything like that, otherwise you're gonna have major problems, alright? Okay? So right, so the rocker cover is now back on, and I'll move my light out of the way. One moment. We need to put this. Okay, let's get in a position so you can sit there. Right, so we're going to stick our air filter back again now. As I say, it's easier to do that. And that's it on. Again, something else is a bit tricky. It should go in easy, the bolt. If it's not, then you haven't got it sitting in right. Don't cross thread it wherever you do, alright? If you just juggle it a little bit like that, then nice and tight. No hoses or anything strapped underneath it. This thing is so close on this car. Unbelievable. There's left no room for anything. It's unbelievable. Great little engine. But probably easier to work on a bloody bomb bug thing, to be honest. But at least you can take the whole power of it and see what you're doing. Yeah. Nice. cuts. So just keep juggling it around and it will screw right in. Right in. As I say, if it's not, then you've got it cross-threaded, alright? And you do not want that, let me assure you. Okay? So first thing will fit. So yeah, if you ever get that problem where you've worked on the car, especially around the back of the engine, and you've done everything you've done, and you go to start it and it's like chugging away like it's on choke, even though choke's not on, there's a good chance the advance and retard tube has come out. It is very easy to come out. Make sure you tighten this up. Don't go mad. So what I say is spark plug now. Don't go crazy. When you put a spark plug in, just screw it up with your fingers and then just give it a pinch up. That's all you need. You don't need any more than that. It's like, I had to sort the plugs out on this, and I think they've been put in with a crowbar or something. It's ridiculous. And trying to work on them down here, you can imagine, can't you? You've got to take the side panel off anyway. And this one is an absolute pain, even though it's at the front and it's right near you. Unless you've got, the correct spanner to get in there, and it's a multi-adjustable one, like a multi one, where you can get the shaft to come out and give it a bit of leverage, you can't get the bugger out. That's really important. When you change the plugs, which I suggest you do as soon as you get it, if you're buying one of these, if you get one of these second-hand, which you obviously are, because they don't make them here anymore. First thing is change the plugs, and do yourself a favour, just screw them in lightly, and then just pinch them up. That's all they need. They're not going to come out anytime soon, I've got to tell you. Alright? Right, then make sure you've got no crack around that. Alright. Let's not get back in there. There you go. Hopefully it's just done. Right, okay, let's see. Start it up. Get all the rags and things out of here. That's where it's leaking from the front quite badly. I mean, it's leaking from everywhere, to be honest, but there's certainly no chance of any more there now. That bit of oil you see there is where I touched it with the top of the wheel. Yeah, it seems quite happy. There's still a bit of water hanging about there, but that'll dry out, should be fine. There's definitely no oil anywhere else, so that's all good. Somebody mentioned, okay, that goes in there. Don't forget to put your hoses back on after there. Somebody mentioned about the overheating problems with these engines. The early ones, oh my god, they were a nightmare. They don't fit the top of the tank. Now they're in various places. I've seen them here, I've seen them here. So depending on what model you've got, so yeah, the water level's good. Just fixed on there. There we go. These bloody things are always coming out. Oh, nightmare. I mean, it's terrace. That's what's happening. It's terrace. She's running a driver phone. Okay. Very slight stutter there. Need to adjust that timing a touch. Otherwise she's quite happy. Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm going to change it for electric ignition. Muck about like that. Better plugs. But she's been running like a dream. Apart from that oil leak, and now I've got the headlights sorted out and all that. That's great. So it's all good. Right, well I think that's about it. So that's it for another one. The next job I'm going to be doing, sorting out this. Now I've got to find the correct blue to match this. How easy that's going to be, I have no idea, but yeah, we'll sort that out and get rid of that. Do the other side as well, and a little bit to do here. That was already there, I don't know what that's about. And there's a few other places that do a bit of touching. Otherwise, it's not too bad. And do this side as well. So, I'm quite happy. There's a few bits here. Just minor things. These are not what I've done. These were already here. But also I've got to sort this out. What the hell that is there? Not brilliant. Bit of plastic in it. Well, now I'm going to sort that out. What I'll do is I'll unscrew this. Sorry. The camera's facing down. I'll unscrew this, take this out, and sort that out properly. I can redo that with some resin and spray it all back in. You won't know there was anything wrong with it. It's just really, you know, cosmetic, really. I mean, mechanically, she's absolutely fine. So if it hadn't been for that damn tyre in this headlight, or on that headlight, pain in the arse. Never mind. These things are things of tyres. Just sorted now. Right, I think the temperature's right. Been sitting there for a while. Come on, focus the damn thing. What is it? Right, my camera's decided to be a pain in the butt. Not focused. Come on. Okay, anyway. Just coming up to just below 80. It's about 75 degrees C. My early one, I bought a brand new one of these years and years ago. I had nothing but trouble with that damn thing. It was the Reliant Rialto. My God, what a pain in the arse that was. Quite happy. Right. Okay. Yep, I bought it. Bought it brand new. I had it built because they used to build them to your requirements, and you know, the colours you wanted, that sort of thing. And it took a good 15 months before I got it. It was actually longer than that, because when I rang up to find out where it was, they said they'd lost it or mislaid it. I said, "You're having a laugh, aren't you?" He said, "No, it's been mislaid." Eventually, when they did find it, they found it being tucked away, and it had a forklift in the side of the door. Brand new, brand spanking new Reliant. So they said, "No problem, we can sort the door out." I said, no, you'll replace it with a brand new door. I don't want no sorting out. You replace it with a brand new door. So then when it was being brought off the low loader, when it got here, and it was being brought off the low loader, the guy who was unloading it, would you believe it, scratched the same door. Brand new door, I might add. But it was very marginal. It was just like he just dabbed it. And I know a lot of you were saying, "God, buddy, I'd have sent it back." No, I'd waited 17, 18 months for this damn car. There's no way they were taking it back. I polished it out, and it was no problem at all. But after that, we went on holiday. After it had been running in period, we went on holiday in it. We went up to Wales. It ran beautifully. We came back, no problem. Went out for petrol about 2 weeks later. All of a sudden they cut outside the road. I thought, what? What's going on here? I had my son on board in the car. Pulled over the side of the road. I had no tools on me, couldn't do anything. I was a member of the AA, so I got the AA out. And he tinkered around with it for a while, looking at the time and looking at the points. He pulled out the distributor unit, and he said, "There's no worm gear on the end of the drive shaft that drives off the oil pump. The worm gear's been ground away to nothing." And we're talking a brand new car here. Turns out that the worm gear hadn't been hardened, and it had literally worn itself away. So, yeah, let's go back into the shop. They sorted out a new worm gear, washed all the engine out. Now, because the engine had to come out, because they had to wash it all out and everything, take the sump off and all that, they took the clutch housing off, you know, the bell housing, and somehow or other they managed to contaminate the clutch. So when I finally got the car back and I went to reverse it out, it was juddering around like a fucking... Turns out they'd contaminated the clutch with oil. So I had to go back in again and have another clutch fitted. Oh, it was an absolute nightmare. And when I finally did get it back, and I've been using it for a while. Then I started getting water problems. It was overheating, then it blew a head gasket. The whole thing was just a nightmare. It was what I call a Friday night car, absolute nightmare. But it never had a top-up tank like this. It just had the radiator, standard radiator like that. And I always thought that was a problem anyway with these, because the pump would have a job to get it up into the heater matrix, cause all sorts of problems. But then they fitted a top-up tank and it got rid of all the problems overnight. Unfortunately, it wasn't on that car, but I'm bloody glad they did it on this one. So the cooling is much better now. Even when I've been sitting in traffic on a hot summer's day, I mean, it's been really hot these past few weeks. I mean, it was very, very hot. We're talking, you know, 36 degrees, 37 degrees. Yeah, no problem at all. It's about 90, 95, that's okay, it's acceptable. Wasn't boiling over or nothing, and as soon as she's got going again, she'll come right back down to about sort of 90. So, but in this weather, she runs at about 80, 82. It's not exactly good weather at the moment, as you can imagine. It's a bit, yep. Anyway, enough of my babbling on. Another job done, and I will put up another video soon when I've got something to do or say. If you've enjoyed this video, please give a like, I'd appreciate it. If you've got any questions or advice, please put them down in the comments, would be much appreciated. And that's all I can get to you, really. So back on. I think I can safely get all back down now. Yep, good. Job done. Jobs are good in it, as I say. Right, take care. I'll see you soon.